Welcome, friends. It's IGN's Xbox show. It's Unlocked, the world's #1 Xbox show, episode 343. That means we have to talk Halo. So we thought we'd have a little fun. We'll share some of our favorite Halo memories. And I thought the Unlocked team here will make our own top 10 all-time Halo multiplayer map list. And hopefully all four of us survive.
I'm already nervous.
Friendships will be.
Yeah, I'm already like writing notes furiously.
Brandon is incorrect.
Like, no, this has to be #1.
There is a lot to cover this week. In addition to that, we're going to tell you about Sea of Thieves' hot start at the virtual box office, as it were. Also, shocking news out of Campo Santo, the Firewatch developers. They've been acquired by probably the last studio you'd ever expect to acquire them. Also, Microsoft is being sued for patent infringement. This involves multiple first-party games. Very strange story this week there. Plus, April updates to the Xbox dashboard, adding a number of new features for you, as well as some best wishes to a longtime Xbox colleague, and well, not a colleague, we don't work there, but a friend at Xbox.
Community friend.
Yes, who is moving on. So, with that, I'm Ryan McCaffrey, Brandon Tyrell on my right. Alana Pierce.
Hey.
Miranda Sanchez, welcome
Hello.
back.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been traveling a lot. It's kind of weird. It's like, wow, I haven't been in the office, and now I'm here. It's very nice to be back.
And your voice is back, Alana?
Yeah, I can talk now.
Yay.
Excellent.
I was banned from being on camera last week. Fran said, no, you're hurting the quality of the shows if you're on podcast. So he literally was like, you are not allowed on. I was like, okay.
Wow.
Oh, actually, I was like, okay. It was very sad.
I like that it's good for your voice. It's that you're hurting the
I mean,
quality
he was
of the
also like,
product.
go home. Don't make me get sick. And I was like, but
That's true. Nobody wants to be sick.
yeah,
It's true.
He's a sweet man.
he is.
All right. Let's get this episode started. It is episode 343. If I were a better host, I probably would have tried to get maybe someone from 343 here to chat with. Although they're also heads down in a little project that we all assume is Halo 6. So
Yeah.
I think it might have been like pulling teeth to try and get anybody out of that office at this point. But thought we'd make our own fun.
Okay.
I want to just go around the table real quick. For episode 343, favorite Halo memory ever? Because this is a franchise now that's been going. I mean, it's coming up on 20 years. We're at like 17 years.
That's
it's
weird.
That's so strange.
It's been around more than half of everyone's life here, except for mine. I'm the old at the table, but it's still almost half of mine.
Yeah.
So Halo's been around the block a long time.
Quite a bit, yeah.
Halo can legally drink in Australia next year. Congrats.
In Australia.
Yay.
Yeah, and Canada.
In Canada,
And
yeah.
almost everywhere but the US, actually.
A couple more years to go.
Master Chief getting sloshed in an Australian bar.
I'd drink with that dude. I bet it's great fun.
I bet he doesn't say
He'd
much.
be,
Yeah.
And he has
He'd
like a
be
sippy
quieter.
straw under the helmet.
He keeps it on.
Yeah.
It's Miranda and I were talking about this morning. It's really hard to think about favorite Halo memory because even thinking about it, you're like, oh, this one and this one and this one.
Yeah.
And I had a friend that I played Halo 3 with the entire campaign. His name's Matt, and he died after we finished playing the game together. He died in a car accident. So I so strongly associate that game with that friendship. And so that, like, even though it's not my favorite Halo game, has so much sentimental value to me. It's just like playing through that game with him really means a lot to me. But like if I were to pick it, like removing my
No, that's
personal
exactly
bias.
the kind of moment I'm looking for. I mean, because that's where the franchise has been around for so long that it is those kinds of stories. It's not it's not even directly. I mean, it is the games themselves, but it's like the games are the vehicle for.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like
for
there's
those
so
kind of
much more
memories
than
like
just the narrative they have in the game and the gameplay. It's like a lot of emotions and big life moments for us that are like tied to these games.
Yeah.
I mean,
right?
if
It
they've
w- it
been
was
with
a-
us for 17 years,
It was
right?
a cultural touchstone for a lot of us growing up. you
This
know?
is, my first, I think, really serious foray into shooters. Prior to that, GoldenEye, I played
Yeah.
for fun with my sister, and we'd have to like find the game because my mom would hide it because we were too young to play it. And when she would come, she's like, "What are you playing?" And I was like, "We're just shooting the walls. We're making wall art." And because we were like little kids, and so Halo also came out when I was still pretty young, and so my dad would sneak me into a room and be like, "Okay, your mom's out for a little bit. Let's play Halo." Because like my mom didn't want me playing it, but my dad wanted someone to play with, and I loved it so much. Like that's such
really
a
cool.
really big thing for me and like my dad, and just also kind of learning to get into these more mature games as well.
Yeah, I think on a personal level, like mine would be finishing Halo 3 Legendary with Matt and being like, yeah, we finally did it. But
And that legendary ending too.
exactly.
Yeah.
So good.
Which we played it on launch as well, so it's like I didn't get it spoiled for me. Twitter didn't exist back then. It was everything was fine.
good old days.
But I think favorite moments of the series, removing myself from that, would be the first time you encountered the Flood. And I also have to give a shout out to the end of Reach, which I think is still one of the best video game endings ever.
There are multiple moments in Reach where you're just like the cat scene, right?
It's rough. It's
just
a rough
like,
game.
oh god,
Death everywhere.
Halo was always like a mature shooter, I guess, in that period of my life. But like Reach was the first one that I felt, maybe not the first one, but there were many moments in Reach where I was just like, holy crap, like nobody is safe, you know?
It's good.
I really love that game. My memory, similar story, me and my best friend who passed away a couple years ago, we met when we were like 12, 13, and I spent literally every weekend at his house, like every weekend. His parents were like second folks to me. And there were a couple moments, a few different games that came out that I remember as really like being, you know, solidifying our friendship of, you know, the competitive nature that we had with each other. It was Halo, and it was, you know, Blood Gulch CTF on Halo with him and his brothers and friends from school. It was like Dreamcast or Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast. It was GoldenEye, but I do remember just entire weekends going by playing Blood Gulch. Just no other maps, just custom map Blood Gulch. Two-person CTF. Let's see which team could get in there and out the fastest.
Did you have, so at OXM, we had our 5 p.m. Halo. Every day, 5 o'clock.
Can we just keep doing that?
Yeah.
Someone.
Well, I didn't have a job back then. So.
I still play Halo on a very regular basis.
Yeah, me too.
The Master Chief Collection I played all the time. We were saying not online, but I still play the campaigns multiple times a year.
Yeah, I get usually try to run a 4-person co-op whenever we pull
We
it
should
back
do
out.
that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
If it works.
There
Yeah.
are 4 of us here.
It's almost like a perfect amount.
Goodness. But yeah, for 5 p.m. Halo at OXM, someone would inevitably, often it was Frank O'Connor, who of course is now at 343 and has been for some years now. It would be someone would just turn on the Xbox, and that's exactly what it would be. You'd hear that was the siren's call.
Suddenly,
It'd be like, okay, we're turning the game on, and it's set the map up.
I've just started watching Parks and Rec again, but it reminds me of Ron Swanson. Anytime his ex-wife Tammy's in the room, he just goes, "She's here."
She's near. And like sniffs a little bit further.
Yeah.
It's like, Tammy.
But
here.
yeah, for me, I think my all-time favorite Halo moment. It wasn't my favorite at the time, but now it is because it's like I barely averted a hugely embarrassing moment, and I was up at Bungie reviewing Halo 2 with our editor-in-chief at the time, Rob Smith, and this was back in the days when games were done ahead of time.
Oh yeah, when there was no day one path.
Yep,
everything in the box was there.
When games were done.
It was the last week of September in 2004, and we'd spent. I mean, if you guys remember, the hype for Halo 2 was still to this day unlike the hype I've ever personally felt and experienced for any other game.
Kind of sad I missed that.
I do too.
I think it was pretty real for Halo 3. But
Holy crap!
You're right,
Yeah.
we wouldn't remember.
I wasn't. I just remember picking up. I was like, "Why am I not Master Chief?" But this is really cool.
Yeah, I have so much to say about Halo's marketing campaigns over the years, but Halo 2 was the very first video game where I am sitting in a movie theater.
Earth.
Century 16, Mountain View, California. I am sitting in a movie theater over the summer, and I see, oh God, the Prophet of Truth's voice comes on, and I can't remember his words, but something's like, "You thought you could win? Your whole world will be glass." And I'm just like, oh my God.
Weird question. Whenever, like, I don't know if this is just me, but whenever I see a commercial for a video game on TV or before a movie, I feel this weird sense of pride.
Yeah.
Do you guys have that?
for sure.
We made it, fam.
Where you're like,
we made
our
it.
industry being recognized.
Yeah.
So-
Which is funny considering video games make more
I
than
know, they
movies
do,
and
but
music
I'm still like,
combined.
oh, that's us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did it.
So
I think we
we're
still have like the small kid on the block syndrome.
Kind
Video
of.
games do, you know?
It's like I'm so glad everyone else is like starting to recognize this and experiencing it and being a part of this community. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
having it in a movie theater is like definitely a touchstone for that.
Which is
Yeah,
why,
absolutely.
as cheesy as it is, when celebrities like publicly announce, like Snoop Dogg's, "I'm playing Battlefield 1." I'm like, all right, that's definitely a product placement, but also like, right on,
Still
Snoop
feels
Dogg.
like a win.
Right
yeah.
on, Snoop.
Yeah.
on that
Great
note,
point.
Halo
Nice.
2 was one of the first games to do movie theater advertising.
Yeah.
That was not really a regular thing in 2004, but so
I wish I could remember what movie they advertised for. It was probably something real stupid.
it probably was all of them at that point.
Yeah, maybe.
It wasn't like trailers that went before certain films. It was just an ad that goes
Yeah, you're
to
probably
the
right.
theater.
There's a there's a historian out there who will probably tweet at us and let us know.
No doubt.
But also, before we jump off topic, quick shout out to the Halo 3 like veteran of the wars marketing campaign.
That campaign was incredible.
Oh my God! Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was fantastic.
Also,
It was like a fake documentary.
It was
right?
like Band of Brothers esque, where they interviewed surviving
They'd
veterans
be like, yeah, I
from the
remember
war.
this weapon, and it was really good.
And then they turn the lights off, and he starts like quietly sobbing. I'm just like, oh my
what about
heart.
the Halo 5 like lead-in podcast series about Master
Oh,
Chief?
Hunt
was it
for,
called?
Hunt for Truth.
Hunt for
Or,
Truth.
yeah.
That was so
sorry,
good.
Oh, I
I
don't think I
love
remember
listening
this.
to that. Yeah, you should listen to them. Those
I
are still.
remember
they hold up.
the live action series, but I don't.
Yeah.
yeah, Hunt for
Yes.
Truth. I remember that.
Hunt for Truth was really good.
But so we're up at Bungie. We're playing through Halo 2. No one else has seen the game yet, or not the whole thing.
Exclusive.
So we're there. Rob actually did the review, but I got to tag along and play also, which was amazing for at that point in my young career. And again, it's absurd hype for Halo 2.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the two of us in basically this like almost like a closet. It had windows, but it's just this little room. Like Rob was over here, I was over here, and I beat the game before he did. I finished before he did, and I remember I'm in it. I'm so you're just powering through at that point. You're not stopping for breaks. You're not like going to sleep. It's just we did. I think half of it or most of it in one day, and then finished the campaign the second day before moving to multiplayer. And Tartarus dies, and there's that little cutscene where Chief's coming back to Earth, and he's like, Master Chief, what are you doing? It's like, sir, finishing this fight, and the credits rolled, and I remember just being in utter shock because it's like, well, no, there's another level.
What happened?
There's this last like climactic battle on Earth, and I genuinely thought, no hyperbole at all, I thought I'd hit a bug. I thought I'd triggered a bug that had the credits roll here instead of there being a last level. And I'm just like, Rob's still playing. So I'm just kind of like sitting there by myself going like, do I tell someone? What do I do?
Yeah.
And I ended up not acting, thank goodness, because that would have been supremely awkward for both me and for Bungie, who would have been like, oh, this press guy, this critic reviewing the game thinks there was supposed to be another level, which of course we learned years later. Yes, there was supposed to be another level.
And it turned into a new game.
Well, yes, ultimately, but they just had to pick up in a different spot than what they originally had intended to. But yeah, I always just look back on that story and laugh because that stoppage, that lack of an ending in Halo 2 at the time was just like, I literally thought it was a bug. That's how crazy it was. But then, of course, from there, I would go on to every single night. And I mean every night, because that was like pre-wife, pre-kid, pre-dog.
Yeah.
Every night, Halo 2 multiplayer, because I could do whatever I want.
Yeah.
That's the lesson, kids.
I remember first feeling competitive about console games with Halo 2. And I remember seeing that
Get
icon.
that level 50.
Dude, that moon.
I started
You got to get.
Mario Kart. I started way sooner than that.
Oh, okay.
Diddy Kong Racing.
Pokemon Stadium. It was cool.
I mean, I guess what I mean is like online competitive,
Sure.
where I thought
Sure.
there's a chance I could be the best in the world.
Right.
Not a chance in hell. Like there was no way I was going to do it. But I kept climbing up, and I wish I could remember what I got to. But I met friends online, and like we got pretty high up there, and then started fighting people that would just like destroy us. And I'm like, I think I'm good with this. I'm good right here. This is my comfort zone.
Well, on that note, let's move, because otherwise I know this is going to go for 3 hours.
Told you.
Our all-time, I want to do the Unlocked Cruise top 10 Halo multiplayer maps.
Yeah.
Now, former IGN employee Brian Albert and I insanely ranked every single Halo multiplayer map ever made up until Halo 5.
Yeah.
Like 110.
It's
maps
110,
at that
yeah.
time.
110, because I went back and revisited that before this to help jog my memory a little bit. There Who thought that was a good idea?
How
Probably
long
was
did
me
that
at the
take?
time.
Probably
A long time.
Yeah.
it's 5 pages.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we were like, okay, what are the worst maps? Oh, it was those 2 just god awful maps from Halo 2 PC that were just sort of thrown in there, and then it's like the bottom third are just almost indistinguishable. It's like they're not. It's not that they're terrible. It's just like whatever.
They're the ones people skip.
So I thought let's do this in a way where we'll just pick 10, top 10. Everybody loves a good top 10.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
Miranda has a pen, so we have someone
This
who
is
can
good.
help.
I
I
can
can
also
write the official.
Yeah.
I can also take
rankings.
notes here as well. So
Okay.
Yeah, so I
let
have
me-
my phone out because I'm looking at a bunch of things. Like I have a bunch
You're
of tabs
totally
open,
going to forget
so-
some names.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let
I-
me give
It's
you
so
a
hard.
short list of just some stuff to work off of. Beginning of that list would be every map from Halo 2.
Yep.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
But I mean, I'm only half joking. Lockout, Midship, Coagulation, which was the Halo 2 variant of Blood Gulch. Beaver Creek was amazing. Ascension, Elongation. You had Sanctuary, one of the even the Halo 2 multiplayer map packs were amazing. Even
You
the
actually have
DLC
someone
map.
here that I thought I would be alone on. The one that I want to call out is you wrote down Narrows.
I love Narrows.
I really like
Nobody
Narrows.
likes Narrows.
I would have thought that most people didn't like
No,
Narrows.
I love Narrows.
No, Narrows was
It's such a
awesome.
symmetric.
No-
like that's
Nothing
the
like
Halo
shooting
3
each
map.
other across a gap from
No,
2
you just
different
gotta be-
ships.
And
You
you,
have to
and
be
you make sure
smart.
someone gets a sniper, and then you're
Yeah.
like, you run out first, distract them, and you could get yourself like up on there was like these angles on it,
Yeah,
sort
like
of, and
you
you could
just
like
have to be-
walk back up on them and like camp out there.
It's
That's
all about the
great.
strategy on that one because like a lot of Halo's maps we were talking about before too was just like they're so open and like there's that freedom there that we don't have as much anymore with a lot of modern shooters. And then you look at Narrows and how that disrupts everything you have for the most part, and just like working that into your playlist is just so much fun.
It's like a combat funnel, but I didn't
Yeah.
realize other people liked that map because I feel like
Yeah.
that was the one that like when I was playing that
my-
game was mostly veto.
Yeah. My memories of Narrows are like Enemy at the Gates, where it's just you
Yeah.
find a crate and hide behind it until you can see where the shot came from.
So,
Run.
on the Halo 1 side, of course, Blood Gulch and Hang 'em
course.
High and Sidewinder, just legendary stuff. Halo 3, of course, you have the Pit. We just
I love the
mentioned
Pit.
Narrows. I threw a few High Ground as well from which was in the beta, the Halo 3 multiplayer beta. I'll probably get some hate tweets, but I thought Halo 4 had some very good maps in it as well.
Yeah.
A lot of Halo 4, I think, gets some unfair hate on the multiplayer front. But Complex was an excellent map. Haven was sort of that was like the gold standard
Yeah.
arena.
yeah, that's the one I wrote
Map.
down. Like I like Haven a lot.
Yeah. And Exile, I thought, was an amazing big team battle map. It's that sort of outdoor, just big ring. There was a tank in it,
Yeah.
a Banshee, a really good selection of vehicles there. So, and then I threw in Powerhouse from Halo Reach.
That's the one that has like the outside area as well, and there's sort of levels, and there's a gravity hammer in there.
It's
Yes.
like that. It's got that exterior ring thing.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah, I like that level,
Exactly
yeah.
right. So, do we have a consensus number one? Maybe do we want to start there?
I'll throw one out there. Let me see how this hits you. Blood Gulch.
Okay, so that's
I don't agree.
I was thinking Coagulation maybe.
I was thinking Lockout.
so
Oh.
I would
Ooh.
I like what's going on the ends of the table with either the Halo 1 or Halo
All right,
2
well, let's fight it out.
of,
Oh, I have 2 controllers on my desk if you want.
oh,
Oh, okay. All right.
Can I
Yeah,
also
let's do
boast
it.
I was the first person in the office to finish Halo 5 on Legendary, so
So, you know.
Not sure what's happening right now.
got called out. So
Do it.
that's the thing. To me, I think I might have more formative and fond overall memories of Blood Gulch because that was the beginning. That's what we did every day at OXM.
That's where I'm coming from.
But I
too.
think the Halo 2 sandbox was better, and I think I would personally say Coagulation
I think
over the Gulch.
I
We
would say
win.
the Gulch, but it's
no.
purely nostalgia.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Coagulation's mechanically a
map.
better
So
map.
what if we have a 1 Coagulation number 2? Like
Well, we'll see.
No, it's
But-
it's either Zanzibar or Lockout.
okay,
So-
well actually
But
I
I-
want Zanzibar's number 2.
So I've got Blood Gulch, then Lockout.
So
Okay.
I would, I think I'm with Alana on this. I have to say, I think Lockout's the all-time greatest Halo multiplayer map.
Dude,
Wow.
being able to skinny drop down on those narrow platforms with a sword, or
And
like,
watching people screw it up as well. Watching
Oh
people
my
who
God.
fail and
Fail?
dropping down.
It is.
die.
Yeah.
so rewarding.
And-
I actually perfected, or not perfected. I got it down where I could hit like 1 out of 10 times. But you would throw a grenade, launch off the grenade, like grenade launch yourself over from the sniper tower, over, and then miss the ledge and land on the narrow one, like near where the sword spawns at the bottom. Like it was.
See, I liked that bottom part as well because earlier it was a sword. They had gravity hammer there in later games, and it just like not a lot of people went down
in the
there.
remake for Halo 3.
Yeah, so it was like a rush to get down there by the very end, and then as soon as you got there might be someone else there, and you're like, oh.
So
I think there was a
you
plasma
two are down
pistol
here.
down there as well.
Yeah.
What I
And then camping the grav lift.
besides just the flow and layout,
Oh, that was fun.
So good.
what I love about Lockout and why I think it's the best Halo map ever made is even though it has no vehicles on it, and vehicles are obviously a key staple of Halo, but you could play anything on Lockout, and it was amazing. You could play Capture the Flag, and it was madness.
And
you could play Shoddy Snipers, and it was insane.
That's so rare to find a map that's balanced for almost every mode.
Especially when it's like asymmetrical.
Yeah.
Oddball
Yeah, you're right.
was crazy on Lockout.
Oh, dude, yeah.
We a custom variant that my group would run was swords only with the radar off. So it's just everybody flying around, and it's just who can know the map and well enough and time your sword lunges well enough.
There's opportunity to get stealthy in Lockout as well. Like it was
Which
just
is,
you could do-
which is weird for such a like small sized map.
Yeah.
You could do rockets only. Rockets only is pretty much a blast on almost any map other than like the
No pun
major giant
intended.
ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you could do anything on Lockout. So I'm with you. I'm going to vote for Lockout as our number one.
My favorite
number
game
one.
mode on Lockout was King of the Hill because
yeah.
inevitably when it spawned in the center, it was Normandy.
Yeah.
It's like everyone would spawn and immediately just
That's true.
like if you were in the center of that map, you were gonna get destroyed in probably 3 seconds. It was
Yeah.
just guaranteed.
You just,
Okay.
but you got to just pick up a second or two
Yeah.
on the clock. That's all you got to do.
It's a battle of inches.
So it sounds like more people are sold on Lockout as number one over Coagulation.
If
I
we're
will-
okay
I
with
think.
that.
I will concede Lockout number 1 if
Lockout number one.
Blood Gulch is number 2.
I'm fine with
well, okay. Why?
2 being Coagulation.
Why?
Yeah, me too.
Why
But
Blood
I
Gulch
did vote
over
for
Coagulation for you?
Blood Gulch.
Like Alana said, it's nostalgia's
Nostalgia.
sake. Yeah.
Okay.
I think Coagulation like did some things with the rocket spawns in that center sort of I guess peninsular kind of area. You know, they added trees and a little bit of cover and some rocks and all that. So I think mechanically it's a little better. But nostalgia, man, you cannot beat just
I mean, I don't disagree. Another fun map variant that I made in Halo 2 that proved popular with our group was what I called Covey Gulch, where you just replace all the vehicles with Covenant vehicles. So
Oh,
the
man.
Warthogs, no one's going to remember this except the hardcore Halo fans. The
Spectres. Yeah.
the Covenant Warthog, which wasn't in the campaign. It was clearly like probably cut out of the campaign, but it was in there and you could select it. You could add it in. So you replace
It was also inferior to the Warthog.
but it was so crazy though. It was
know.
just goofy. So you
You can
take
flip
out
it really
Yeah,
easily.
you take out all the UNSC vehicles. So instead of the tank, you get the Wraith, which with its arcing
Dude,
lob.
the Wraith is the single greatest vehicle in the Halo series.
I hate
You
Wraith
can be
So much.
Dude, there was a point in my life where I was a surgeon with that thing. Like I felt like I could hit the wings off a
So
hummingbird
I
with this thing.
attribute a lot to my aiming skill to that because it is such a precise thing.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta just have the feel for it, right? It's like I know this is the
Yes.
land because I just know exactly how far up I need to look and aim.
so bad.
So I vote for Coagulation.
All right, I'll give you Coagulation.
Okay.
All
number
right.
two.
So number one
you
is
on that.
Lockout.
Okay.
Number 2 is Coagulation.
Does that mean we put Blood Gulch at 3 or do
I don't
we
know. I
get rid
see
of
now. I
Blood
feel
Gulch?
like
I want to put Zanzibar at 3.
Me too.
I think that's fair.
Should we just make a rule and make it the best version of each map?
I'm okay with that
Sure.
for the
so
purposes
it can be
of this exercise.
Coagulation / Blood Gulch. So everyone
slash
can-
hemorrhage
Slash
also
what was the other one?
the
Yeah.
version in Halo 2
Blood-
Anniversary
Bloodline.
is really
Bloodline.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bloodline.
Yeah.
Really good.
I had it right.
You did it.
You did say that.
The Blood Gulch family of maps.
Yeah.
I think it suffered a little bit from like over designing at some point.
Yeah.
Like at
just-
some point, like an extra brushstroke ruins the painting. You know, like it's
Sure.
good, it's good how it is.
Yeah.
Just give me Coagulation with a new coat of paint.
Okay, so we have our top 2 then. Just so that's
Yeah.
the first.
We did it.
All right,
Or no, sorry.
This is going better than expected.
1/5 of
Or
the
no,
way
sorry,
there.
Top 3.
Top 3 if we got Zanzibar
wait,
at 3.
whoa.
Lockout and Friends.
What's 3?
Blood Gulch and Friends /
Yeah.
Coagulation.
Okay.
And
And
Friends.
Zanzibar. Are we? Oh, we have a frown.
It's
from
definitely
Brendan
on my
Tyrell.
list. Actually, my list right now is Blood Gulch, Lockout, Coagulation, Zanzibar. So
Oh,
It's the same thing. So yes,
I just remember it not being in the top 3. But yeah,
Zanzibar.
This is the
The
best
wheel.
episode 343 ever, you guys.
proceed.
I love that map because it is really different.
It's
Like
also just
every
fun
part
to
of
say.
it. It is. That's
Zanzibar.
Well, it may be
Thank
the
you, Tenacious D.
single greatest asymmetrical Halo map
I think so
of them
too.
all.
And it was my favorite to do shoddy snipers on by a lot. That was the mode that I played most.
I mean,
on that.
Dude,
Capture the Flag's also really
CTF,
good because
assault.
it had that screen. It had that little screen that if you like clicked it, it would blue screen and
Yes.
then
Yeah.
you could get out.
The
Like, it was-
gate. It was
It,
the
it,
gate.
op- it opened
Yeah.
the gate.
So-
also, you could shoot the hinges thing and like jump on them before
Yep.
they came down.
I want to share another quick memory of this. So this is part of. You got to remember the Halo 2 was shown so sporadically. There was the original, probably still my favorite video game trailer ever, which is with still gives me goosebumps to this day watching the trailer where Cortana, he's gonna. I want to curse here, but I'm not going to. Chief wants to. He's jumping out of the.
Oh, what if you miss?
What I won't. And it's like,
Yeah, that's really good.
so good.
Yeah.
Chief
And
has
then-
a lot of good lines.
He does.
Even in
That's-
Halo 5, I really like his like negative infinity. I don't like it. Like all these like eat your vegetables and like all this
I
good
don't
quotes
like
from it.
But
I think he has so many great lines because he never says more than like 8 syllables
they're
at
all
a time.
good. He's very efficient
Man,
with
a
his
few
dialogue.
words. But
Right.
But so the run up, the hype that had been building, OXM, we'd done 1 or 2 cover stories that, as the junior guy, I didn't get to go to Bungie to myself. Instead, Frank went and then got hired by Bungie.
Just think.
Out. I know, like a butterfly effect. But so when the first time we ever got to play, that I ever got to play Halo 2, was E3 2014. And it was behind closed doors. It was Zanzibar.
Wasn't Zanzibar made like in a rush right
Yes.
before that?
Yeah.
too?
Correct.
They made it like I don't know a month beforehand.
Exactly
maybe less
right.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I was reviewing that same that anecdote from Max Hoberman, the multiplayer lead on Halo 2. That is exactly correct.
crazy.
And it was, I mean, 1 flag CTF, and so I had my behind closed doors session. It's 5-on-5, and I went back, and you had to have an appointment. The appointments were booked solid. It was,
sure.
you can't just walk in to the BCDs. Like they're, everybody's got to get in, and they've got an appointment schedule. I went back and begged my way in like 2 more times with ER, and it's just every time I was just. So yeah, Zanzibar was. It's really.
Yeah.
It's close to the heart.
Man, it struck me as one of the first times where I started thinking with like a critical sort of mind about video games as an excellent example of interactive map design. Because you had so
Yes.
many elements that not only like you could interact with, but that fundamentally changed the way that you played the map.
There were parts of
Right.
that map that I knew that I should avoid because I was bad at playing in those areas.
Sure,
Right.
yeah.
Part that's like to the right of the map and there's like the little sort of causeway thing. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I die
Little
there.
cliff-ish
The-
Yeah,
area.
the
so I'm like,
tower
I'm
up-
just not
the
gonna
tower
go
up
there.
there.
I would hang up there. I would grab the invisibility
Yep.
when it spawned and have a shotgun, and I would just run rampant.
Just camp
up
it.
there.
Yeah.
So rude.
You
really
see
bad
that
there.
you're crouched,
Yeah.
you're invisible. You see that red dot come up, and you're like, all right, if he hooks
Now-
a right and comes up the stairs, it is over.
A final point on Zanzibar. I will say, I think this is one where the remake in Halo 3 wasn't very good. I think it lost. I really think it lost something.
I don't
when it
remember what was the
when it
difference.
ported over. I don't know. I don't
Definitely
recall.
played
that-
it on Halo
it just
3, but-
didn't feel the same. There was something.
Yeah,
just
for
the
sure.
the differences in the Halo 3 sandbox versus
What,
the Halo 2.
what was it
sandbox.
called? In
I'm-
3?
The name escapes me now, and I'm going to get reamed in the
I mean,
comments.
I must
for
have
that,
played it
but
a million
Yeah,
times.
it's
but
hard to remember these.
Thank you. Yes, last resort.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Anyway, all right. So we have a top 3. Let's keep going. So it's going to get maybe even a little harder here as we go, trying to round out a top 5 and
yeah,
then a top 10.
we're at almost a half hour on the show, and
All
we've
right.
only gotten 3
fine.
maps.
So midship.
I
Nominate midship as full.
I agree.
I have Ascension. I don't even have midship on my list.
Wow.
What?
Yeah,
Midship was like
go ahead.
the like key
You're off the show. It's
pro.
been fun.
Well, you can't. You
Four.
Okay.
Midship.
All right. I feel
wow.
good
All
about-
right. Holy shit.
Well, you really got
Sorry, we're
outvoted
done.
there.
Okay. Wow.
I mean,
Jeez.
midship.
You gotta move on sometimes.
We just talked about possibly the best asymmetrical multiplayer map ever in Zanzibar. One of the best. I guess Lockout's technically asymmetrical, so technically that's
True,
I guess that's
true,
the best
it is,
asymmetrical map. But talk about symmetrical
Mm-hmm.
maps that are brilliant. It's midship. I mean, again, same thing as Lockout, where you could play CTF on it, and it was utter madness because you could see.
I love CTF
was
on it.
So good. Oddball so good. Rockets Only so good. Swords so good. Oddball, like it's just trying to hide for like a few seconds at a time.
There were only like 3 places you could go.
Oh man, there was a reason. Midship has been remade a couple of times. It's in 5 even. So
I don't like it because I think it's too easy to lock down when you have a team with BMRs or something that group shoot. You know,
DMRs.
DMRs. Thank you. BMRs, Black Magic Recorders, tool of the trade.
Yeah, it's,
I've been doing one too many video
I
support
think I said
requests.
that once recently too.
DMRs are battle rifles. I think. I mean, when I was playing it, if I had a nickel for every time I would spawn and then just immediately get 4 shot in the head and die, I'd be. I wouldn't be here.
You just gotta get good, man.
yeah.
Okay.
It was the go-to like professional players map for
I know.
a long time.
And for a lot of people, that's the reason why they like it, right? Is because it is
also just like
trying
the
to-
wobbly platform.
Yeah,
so
and trying to
tactical.
you gotta
Yeah.
jump
Yeah.
time,
I like-
get your
I like
jump
the
right
wobble.
to get up and get the sword on top
Yeah.
when that spawned.
Yeah, I don't know,
That'd be good.
man. I just
Those rockets on the wobbly platform.
It's a great map for good teams that coordinate and communicate well. When you're playing alone on Xbox Live, oh
Also-
boy, is it a train wreck of pain.
It's just do a free for all game. That's
Yeah.
where it's at.
It was good
Yeah,
for free for all.
Yeah. All right.
So solid number
five.
4. Number 5. Halfway point.
Ascension.
It gets a little okay. We
does
have
get
a
hot in here.
nomination for Ascension.
I'm gonna nominate the pit.
The Pit is a solid nom as well.
Yeah, I kind of lean more toward the Pit than Ascension.
Pit didn't even make my list.
So the pit's the one in Halo
It's in
3
Halo 3.
that
Yeah.
It's
you
It's like the
just the way that
industrial-
the way that everyone like runs out of those 2 areas. It's
Yeah.
like the battle is ready immediately, and it's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
cool. And you can also have contained battles in those side rooms, and I felt like
I'd love
the
running
pit was
around.
exciting.
Yeah, running around the side.
I'm
kind of
gonna throw.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
The
gonna
Pit-
throw
Pit was
one
great
more.
for free for all. And I remember,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know Zanzibar had a mounted machine gun, but the Pit's like the first one I remember thinking like, oh my god, there's a machine gun. I'm gonna kill everything.
Yeah.
You know?
I want to throw one more on the nomination list for this spot, and that is Valhalla.
So I have
Sort
Valhalla.
of spiritual
Actually-
successor to
Yeah.
the
Right.
Gulch. Classic Halo 3 map, which has since lived on.
as a
That's
Ragnarok.
true.
Yeah.
I actually,
Okay with having Valhalla above the pit.
I am
Actually,
too.
I would agree with that actually.
I always enjoyed big team battles. Like 4 out of
Mm-hmm.
my 10 maps are specifically made for big team battles, and Valhalla's on there, and Ragnarok isn't. Specifically because they added the Mantis tank to Ragnarok, and I don't like the Mantis.
I'm not a
Yeah.
big fan of its use. It's a bit OP, I think.
Yeah, and like you have to be
Yeah.
really careful with the vehicles that they offer there, and then that was just like pushing it a little too far.
Yeah.
So
The Mantis
agree with a lot of things that-
vehicles in Halo were always excellent in that not only were they Powerhouse if used correctly, but they also are like the means of winning CTF in games
Yeah.
like that. And when you introduce something like the Mantis that's ostensibly looked at as this is my nuke, you know,
Yeah.
never fails. Someone always sprints towards it and then just immediately goes and tries to frag other players. And like,
yeah.
you know, you can't really be strategic with that unless you're locking down an area. So just give me Valhalla and get rid of that dumb Mantis.
Number 5.
Okay with
All
number
right.
5 being Valhalla.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Then we have that there.
Now let's go back to
I
Ascension.
do
Go back to
really
6.
want Narrows to make the top 10.
Narrows, I have like around 8.
We're
Okay.
getting there. We're getting there because
Potentially.
yeah.
Like, I think it fit on the
Narrows I
lower
have in the
end.
trash can over here.
All right. I feel like
That's
so.
Your house?
Oh,
I am
Live in the trash.
it's all right.
very.
You can do better.
I could do better.
Yeah.
I'm very
Flash
heavily biased
for it, yeah.
map-wise towards Halo 2 because I just think, I mean, that was
I
just
absolutely think it has the
Bungie
best map.
at their absolute, the peak of their multiplayer map designing powers.
So
that's Max, that's Chris Carney, a couple of the key folks involved there. Yeah, I mean, I think Ascension belongs on the short list for consideration for our number 6
Yeah.
slot. But
You want to talk about?
I want to throw in the Ivory Tower
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, Ivory
there's-
Tower was was a lot of madness happened there as well.
There's 3 maps from Halo 2 that I want to see on this list still, and that is Ascension.
So many
Running out of space.
It's Ivory Tower, and then that's Headlong as well. Headlong
Interesting choice.
is an excellent map because not only do you have the vehicle element of it and a Banshee, like, patrolling the sky, you've got a tower that you literally have to climb. Like, you have to get up there, and then it has that hanging beam.
Yes.
That you jump and run across the beam.
Yep.
And it was. I know I've already used the Normandy analogy, but it was really like running through gunfire because you are totally out in the open.
One thing I would say I never liked about that map is I always felt like the Warthog was kind of useless.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It is.
You just have to have the right driver. Like there has to be a lot of coordination there just
Yeah.
because it's so easy to flip.
And you could say that with a lot of maps and a lot of
Sure.
vehicle combinations, but it really was like great for driving around, dropping off, and then like Blood Gulch, you do a circle and maybe another one, and then hopefully by then they have the flag and they jump down on the ground and land in the passenger seat.
Well,
I just didn't think it was like I prefer Team Slayer. That's my way to play, and I didn't think it was a great Team Slayer.
Yeah.
I guess
It is asymmetrical.
I wouldn't vote for Headlong up this high.
Sure.
Personally.
Yeah. I just want to see
Like I would put Ascension way over
Me too.
Headlong.
Yeah, man.
Are we doing it?
So
Yeah,
we're
I'm cool with Ascension.
Okay.
I want the pit.
The pit.
I'm good with the pit next if you want to go with the pit next.
That's okay then.
Okay, so
That's
6,
7?
Ascension, 7 the pit.
Okay, this is where we.
This is where it gets tough to round out the top 10 because, like, I even think, like, again, the Halo 2 multiplayer map pack where Bungie again dropped another, just a huge quantity and quality. I mean, I believe it was 11 maps total that were added to the game, like almost doubling the map count. Sanctuary was incredible. It's still, that map has lived on. I'm partial to Turf. I really enjoyed Turf. I know that's maybe not universally regarded, but
Well, I've got Boardwalk from Halo Reach that I know not that many people liked. That I'm like, I'm not gonna like make you guys put it in the top 10, but it's like one that I was just really partial to.
yeah. And then even Elongation, which was a remake of something from Halo 1, but it was
Hang 'em
literally
High?
it was a hallway, but there was a conveyor belt and it's a hallway,
Wait.
and it
I
got
don't think it's Hang 'em High.
Is Elongation?
No.
Elongation's like the gas facility one with the catwalks on the sides from Halo 3.
Oh, yeah.
Elongation.
no, it's
is
Elongation's Halo 2. It was in the Halo 2
Yeah.
multiplayer map pack.
It looks
It's
a little bit like a factory. in a
Yeah,
way.
it's a remake of a Halo 1 map, and I'm
Wish I could
just
remember it.
blanking on the name of the Halo 1 map. But in any case, let's see here. So,
So we're up to 8, right?
well, we've got 7.
Yeah.
Yes. So we
Yeah,
need
we're on
number
it.
8, which I think should be Narrows.
I think it should be Narrows as well.
I'm
Since-
good with that.
Since Guardian is a remake of Lockout, we're including that as
It's in the
Lockout
Lockout
and
family.
Friends.
Lockout and
Yes.
Friends. Okay.
Lockout and Friends.
What's up, everyone? Welcome.
Can we put,
hi,
can
I'm
we put
Lockout.
Narrows at 8?
Look, I'm not going to say yes, but I can't say no.
It's
so.
already
It's
done.
already-
Okay.
30 circles.
I'll just talk to camera while you
Sometimes
guys
you have to do
profane
things
our
for me
list.
because I had to write it.
I'm
so.
conceding Boardwalk. I'm getting rid of that.
How you doing?
Okay.
All my other boys
It's
have
2
made the
left.
list.
2 spots for an all-time. Now, I think I've got to step up for Halo 1 right now, and I've
Ooh,
got
what's it gonna be?
It's got to be Hang 'em High for me.
I don't like that map.
I don't like that map either.
Is it
Wow.
because
It's the one
you
with,
didn't
like, the-
have mad pistol skills?
Probably
Because-
it sucked if you didn't.
It did
Yeah.
suck if you didn't,
No, it
but
just
that's the beauty of it.
Sucked because it took everywhere. It took a long time to get everywhere.
No, it did not.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Is that the one?
Well, I guess I'm not
Alright.
getting any consensus
I
here.
don't think you are abnormal though. I think
likes
the
it.
fact that 3 of us don't care about it that much is what's abnormal.
But
People
it is-
love Hang 'em High.
It's our list. It's not the world's list.
true.
It's our 4. So if I'm outvoted here, I concede that.
Let me just double check. This is the one with like the concrete pylons
Yep.
all
Yeah.
over the map, right?
So
Yeah, that
if
map
you won't,
sucks.
if you won't give
People
me that,
really love it.
if you won't give me Hang 'em High, will you grant me Sidewinder?
Yes.
I will
I will
100% grant you something.
All right.
Allow
Here's the easy
Sidewinder.
one.
You know what? I don't even have to grant you.
You know,
you
it-
just
We just
get it.
agree.
It may still be. Is that the only time there's ever been slippery ice in a Halo multiplayer
What was the
map?
remake of Sidewinder? It was the
for Halo 3?
Halo 3. And I actually really liked that remake too.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
I don't remember what it's
I'm
called.
upset.
Thank you, Miranda. I
but
knew
yeah,
this
you-
would be a
Don't
problem
worry.
on
You
this
could
episode that we'd be like, what's the name
Just
of the
power slide
120th?
around in the Warthog. You're trying to get the flag. You're sliding
Which
around.
already has the traction of just like a bubble.
But I
Right.
don't think it was slippery in the Halo 3 remake.
I
No,
don't
it
believe.
wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as
yeah.
I remember, it wasn't.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, so Sidewinder is our number 9
Okay.
game then, and now we need to round out the top 10.
Let me double check because I have a dark horse that I like. Did we put Headlong on, or did we?
We have not
nix
yet.
That? Okay.
So I think in the mix right now.
Did we put Ivory Tower on?
No, that's. I was going to bring Ivory Tower back up to the front of the discussion.
Yeah, just Avalanche.
Avalanche.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably
Probably something icy.
Yeah.
So,
So my last 2 are Ivory Tower and Waterworks.
God, I do love the Waterworks.
It was the first like big team battle only map, you know, and obviously you
Kinda,
could play
yeah.
other things, but like nobody played it unless it was big team battle.
Right.
Possibly a mostly forgotten feature
Yeah, we
of
were
that
talking
map
about
that we
this.
talked about before we came on the air is you could shoot the stalactites down from the top of the roof of the cave that the map set in.
Yeah.
And, if you were good enough, you could get some kills out of it.
When I was playing Halo back then, I always wanted black chief armor, and I'm like, why can't I get black armor? Because I was super edgy.
Back in My Chemical Romance days.
Yeah, it was way before that. And now I understand because on Waterworks, the gray armor coating was next to impossible to see from a
Yeah.
distance. Like if you were on those back sort of sidewinders or,
Yeah.
or ledges off in the back corner near the facility, you were like a T-Rex. You can't see them if they don't move. And I realized that would have been made worse by black armor.
So, boy, on a side note, I spent so much time customizing my Spartan armor.
In
Oh,
Halo.
so did I.
Oh, yeah.
Making
Halo
emblems
2.
and stuff.
Oh God, yeah, it's so good.
Hayabusa helmet.
Okay, so competing for
good.
this final slot, we have Waterworks in there. We have
Ivory Tower.
the Ivory Tower in there.
Powerhouse.
Powerhouse maybe worth some consideration. It seems like none of these the best of Halo 4 isn't quite going to crack the top 10.
I was thinking about that. Like I don't know.
And you notice I want to I guess address for people wondering like why is nobody
statement.
talking about Halo 5? Well, I think we all generally agree that Halo 5 is mechanically
Excellent.
the
Really
the best Halo multiplayer since Halo 2. But the maps I feel like are good, but they're not top 10 legendary all time.
And there's
franchise
120 maps now, more than that now. So it's like we have a lot to choose
Yes.
from.
There's also context, right? Like we have seen map design since the days of Halo 2 evolve, and
That is true.
maybe something that would have been astounding in Halo 2 isn't really impressive in Halo 5 anymore, right? So
Right, or it doesn't work with just how how multiplayer flows. It's just so much
Very
faster,
true.
and so like
Yeah.
you
It is
have to
all
balance
Those
that.
sandbox changes we
Yeah.
were talking about earlier.
and there's no small amount of like rose tinted glasses involved here too.
Oh,
right?
you're
Like,
absolutely-
we
yeah.
absolutely
90%
have
us
fond memories.
Living in our past.
and it's our list, so whatevs.
Yeah.
Right. I wanna also throw out High Ground for consideration.
That's what I was thinking too. High Ground was
the beta, one of the beta maps from the Halo 3 multiplayer
Yeah.
beta. You come up you got the beach, you make your way up, it's curving around.
Yes.
And then there's the base, like the
Yes.
fort
Front
wall,
one.
effectively, and then inside the base there.
yeah. I think I
So-
want that as 10.
But I got to throw out
I want Powerhouse.
Beaver Creek from Halo 2.
Yeah.
Fast and Furious there. as
Also
well.
good.
I feel bad because I didn't play a lot of Halo Reach's multiplayer because I didn't like it. I just didn't like the way it played, and so I just stopped playing very quickly after.
I mean, it's
One
definitely
too,
different.
One too many armor locks.
Yeah, just
I
let
was
me
an
go
unlock
back to
person.
Yeah, I know you were.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than being on someone's ghost when they try to speed away and then just armor locking it
Yeah.
into oblivion.
I mean, for me, if it were I were making my own top 10 list, nothing from Reach would make it on, but it is
right.
I
our
like
list.
Powerhouse a lot though. But I'm also
Yeah,
Okay, so
if I have to give my vote, it's Ivory Tower, but I'm going to let you guys
I'm
decide.
also cool with Ivory Tower.
what do you think, Miranda?
That waterfall.
I mean, I'm kind of still more partial to High Ground, but I think I'm very outvoted. and will
I mean,
accept that.
if
Fine with either.
I would cast the vote for Ivory Tower before I would for the High
Ivory
Ground.
Tower it is.
I think High Ground just falls out of the top
11
10 for me.
High Ground.
Rockets in the waterfall,
11,
sniper up top.
Mhm.
There was nowhere in
Put
that
it in.
map that you actually felt safe.
All right, so we did it. Miranda, would you be so kind as to read off the unlocked top 10 Halo multiplayer maps of all time list as of episode 343 here.
From now until eternity.
Until Halo 6.
Right, the definitive ranking of all Halo maps ever in the history of ever. No other ones can be added. Number 1 is Lockout and Friends.
Lockout and Friends.
Number 2 is Coagulation, Bloodline, Blood Gulch, the bloodline of all of those.
Coagulation and Friends.
Yes. Number 3, we have Zanzibar.
Yes.
Number 4,
But
we have...
not its friends.
Yes, no
Just
friends.
Zanzibar.
Just Zanzibar. 4, Midship. And then number 5, we have Valhalla. Number 6 is Ascension. Number 7 is The Pit. Number 8 is Narrows. Yay. Number 9 is Sidewinder. And number 10 is Ivory Tower. And number 11 is High Ground.
I like it.
That is a good list.
like it.
There you go. The top 10
Yeah.
plus 1.
If you were to play those maps, if you loaded those up into a list tonight in Master Chief
That'd be
Collection,
so nice.
you'd have a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Excellent.
feel good.
I do.
We did
I
it.
feel good about that as well.
I'm happy with this. Very happy.
Well, excellent.
Well, great show.
As to wrap this up of this segment of episode 343 before we move on to the rest of it, thank you, Bungie and 343 for continuing to
My formative years.
Yeah, making these
Yeah.
incredible experiences.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I think what separates Halo multiplayer for me to put a bow on this exact topic is, I think it's the map design. It's so memorable. Like, there are a lot of great multiplayer games, a lot of multiplayer shooters, but there aren't a lot of them. You know, there are certainly classic Call of Duty maps, but I think Halo above all, that's where you think of these legendary maps in addition to the gameplay that, you know, I think you just don't necessarily think of. Like, can you name Unreal Tournament maps off the top of your head necessarily?
I never played
I
Unreal
mean,
Tournament,
I've
so
played
no.
more of Gears multiplayer than almost anything else, and I struggle to name those maps.
Right. There are some great Gears maps, but,
Same,
yeah,
but I
just-
describe them as like
Yeah.
the church one.
Yeah, there is a
Yeah.
different. I just feel like there's just a different league with Halo maps specifically.
I mean, the closest I think I could get would be like Call of Duty maps, like Black Ops maps or World at War maps. But
Yeah,
even
there's
then,
I have some fond memories from Modern Warfare 2 maps specifically, but it's like there are these very focal points, but with Halo, it's just like across all of the games, but specifically, of course, Halo 2 because it's just like the pinnacle of their map design.
Yes.
But
It's really easy to identify them.
Yeah.
Like if you're like the one with the big fan, you're like, oh, Zanzibar.
Yeah.
And everyone knows what it is and exactly how, and you exactly remember how it's laid out. And I haven't played it in forever. It's like, you're just like, yeah, I could still traverse that. I could draw you the map of that map somehow.
totally
Still remember it.
yeah, man.
awesome.
tell you what weapons are where.
So
Yeah.
It's impressive.
onward and upward. Hopefully,
just-
hopefully Halo 6 will get some maps on this list. That is my hope. All right, news time. Sea of Thieves, Brandon Tyrell,
Hey, what's up?
guy who reviewed that game.
I did.
Number 2 game seller for March.
I am
Just behind Far Cry 5.
super proud of Rare.
A lot of success out of the gate. And do remember that came out on the 20th or 23rd.
I would-
20th, I believe
Yeah.
it was. And so, you know, the latter part of the latter third of March, and it still was the number 2 selling game of March. So
Very impressive.
congrats to Rare on that. They even noted, the NPD, I should say, noted that it was the fastest selling Rare game ever, with the asterisk of since they began tracking the data in 95. But that's
95.
still like,
Wow.
there's some heavy hitter N64 Rare games that Sea of Thieves has outpaced sales-wise out of the gate.
It honestly doesn't surprise me at all because the N64, despite it feeling like everyone you know has played it, didn't sell that well.
Yeah.
Which still surprises me. The stats are like,
Yeah,
wait,
it's weird.
And games in general are more ubiquitous now than they've
Yeah.
ever been.
But
so.
but to contextualizing, Rare's N64 games did sell very, very well.
True. They were the
So,
best games on that platform.
Yeah, so
for sure.
this is a notable
Yeah, this
achievement
is great.
here.
Yeah, either way, I mean, I think this is clearly the foundation for them, like the proof of the foundation for them to keep going with.
Well, and it's also a reason for them to keep updating it, which
And
is what we all
they-
want at this point.
Which
Yeah, laid out
at-
their plans for, which I'm super excited because I enjoyed my time in Sea of Thieves and I want to go back to it. There's obviously a lot in
Yeah.
the way right now.
I'll go back with you.
But I think, definitely whenever
Oh,
they
me too.
yeah,
I mean, if
they
we're
do that
gonna,
big
you
update.
guys
We still
round it
have to
up,
do our-
count me in.
We still have
did
to
our
play.
episode in it.
We haven't all got to play
I
yet.
think
No.
I think what I want to do is wait until May I mean, we've gone over this again, so I don't want to hash it out too much. But we know that April is updates for Sea of Thieves, Rare said as much, and then May starts the new content drops, and then we'll have weekly events and whatnot up until the second content drop this summer. So I think in May when
isn't May like 6 days away?
The Hungering Deep
very
comes
soon.
out, unspecified
Sometime
date in
in
May. I think when
I feel that.
the Hungering Depths, the Hungering Deep comes out, which I'm still convinced it's going to be mermaids. So if you like killing mermaids.
Well, maybe we can just spend our
Amanda,
Memorial
help me.
Day weekends playing Sea of Thieves together.
Yeah, that'd be great.
What weekend is
I
that?
don't know.
Not going anywhere.
What
I'll
weekend
have
is
to
that?
see.
You got to check your calendar.
I got
Wow,
I got to check with the boss. I
super
think
far,
I
and
actually
I don't
have
know
something
when that
going on.
is.
I don't know when it is either.
It's
I just
Memorial
say.
Day's the last weekend in May, right?
yeah.
I will be in
Okay.
Australia. My sister's getting married.
Well, congratulations to her.
I might play it with my family though. That would be cool.
Oh, that would
That'd
be
be
great. Per Schneider plays with his kids.
I feel
They
like
have a great time.
my mom would like this a lot.
Oh, my mom
to play.
was texting me about it after E3 and was like, "What's the pirate game?" And I was like, "Surely you don't mean the Ubisoft."
Sid Meier's pirate game?
All right, rounding out the top 10 sales wise for the month of March. So you had Far Cry 5 at number 1, Sea of Thieves at number 2. MLB The Show just continues every year. It does very, very well as a PlayStation exclusive. Every year, Xbox fans go, are we ever going to get a pure sim baseball game? Because RBI Baseball is not that. It is more of an arcadey kind of thing. And the answer I have to tell people every year is no, because, I mean, again, it's not to dig this up again, but the market realities, like what it would cost for EA or Microsoft or literally anyone else to actually spin up a team and invest the time to make a great
You have to pay for the license.
baseball game.
That's a lot.
Well, per the
Is
last,
what I mean. Sorry.
yeah, because the 2K deal is over, so I don't know what MLB's terms are. Clearly, they're viable enough that Sony keeps doing it, but as much as I love baseball and it's officially our national pastime, it doesn't have the huge international draw. Come on, don't give me that.
Just look at Brent's
It
face.
is. I know football's the biggest sport, but it's
Football's
You're
cooler.
God-
People hit each other. You know, it's good.
Anyway.
Alana's just sitting here like,
What about cricket?
what about cricket?
Anyway, what it would take money wise and time wise for EA or Microsoft or anybody to build something that was really good, that would be a viable alternative for MLB The Show. They're just probably not going to be able to see enough of, if any, of a return on that, because you're mostly selling that game in North America.
Yeah.
You don't have it's like, for context, NBA 2K is by all accounts an excellent sim basketball game every year, but they sell millions of copies largely because the NBA has become a huge global market. Baseball,
It's big in Europe, yeah.
and China. It's massive in China.
Yeah.
And the MLB baseball just isn't that.
You have North America and Japan, really.
And South America as well, arguably, but like just non-existent in Europe, non-existent in Australia.
I lived across from a baseball field for like 10 years, actually.
Well, as
like
a nationally
like a professional one or like a Sandlot
recognized sport.
Like they had a club.
one? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So anyway,
But you're right.
we're probably, and then the other thing too is if somebody did build that game, yeah, they could. If it weren't Microsoft, they could put, EA could redo MVP Baseball and they could put it out on PS4. But you have this firmly entrenched series in MLB The Show.
Yeah.
How much can you really sell?
And it's one that's
on
already
PS4?
so good. that people
You would
like
have-
so much.
Exactly. Like you have a tough time pulling people away from it. So it's just the market. The market isn't there for it on the.
I mean, let's say it takes you 3 or 4 years to siphon enough market share where you're profitable. That is a huge investment. And multiple games.
And to your point, EA is trying that now. They've finally resurrected NBA Live.
Yeah.
And I mean, from what we see, it doesn't seem like it's going well. I mean, we don't have the
Correct
full
me if I'm
internal
wrong, but
data.
it always reviews like a full 2 or 3
Badly.
points lower
General-
than 2K.
Yeah.
Yeah, in context, it does not review well.
Yeah.
And you don't hear people talking about it,
It's
but
like a PES versus FIFA situation.
they're trying. So I don't know, but
Yeah.
Anyway, don't expect that sim baseball game on Xbox. Sorry for non-baseball fans for just clogging up 5 minutes of the show.
America's pastime.
Well, what about?
I'm sorry, dude. Wow. I'm sorry.
You cutting deep today.
Yeah,
man.
I know. I'm hyphy that we didn't get headlong on there.
Number 4, Kirby Star Allies on the Nintendo side. Then GTA 5.
So it's got to be so close to
Surprise.
100 million.
Call of Duty World War II hanging strong after that. Mario Kart 8 continuing to move units. Ni no Kuni 2. And then NBA 2K 18.
Speak of the devil.
Just talking about that. And Monster Hunter World hanging around.
Glad Monster Hunter's
Also.
still selling well.
I'm still playing that.
Yeah, I just
I need to go back to it. I just started playing The Witcher 3 again because I kept saying since they got the X enhancements that I'd
yeah.
install it again, and I did, and I'm like,
I feel like you say that every other
no,
week.
I actually no.
just started
I
playing
keep-
The Witcher 3
but I keep
again.
being like I'm planning to.
Yeah.
I actually installed it again.
I
this
just
week.
believe that you go home and start a game and then forget where you were and then start it again
I
2
do
weeks
that a lot
later.
as well. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I just started playing The Witcher 3 again. You should get that tattooed or a tombstone thing.
But I
Either
actually
way.
did start playing it again this week.
I believe you.
Every other time was just talking about doing it, and now I've actually done it.
Hooray.
And it's very good.
I just tweeted something out. I saw a trailer today for
It was
Monster
so
Hunter World.
good.
They have the best second take marketing angle for that game I've ever seen. It is, if you didn't already pick it up on the back of the promise of hunting big monsters and carving them up to make awesome weapons and armor, there's cats in the game.
Wait,
so
what?
It is a yeah. It is a 1+ minute trailer of just, hey, you have a cat. You can feed it sausages. You can dress it up in armor. You can scratch its chin. Come play with cats.
Yeah, it's like, look, they're so cute, but they can also fight.
But they can also
so it's not a
fight.
literal cat. It's your.
Well, they are cats.
It's
It's
your
a
palico.
palicos.
It's your palico.
Yeah.
Right. I
They're
thought
a-
you meant they like
they're
introduced
a-
domesticated cats. And I was
No,
like,
they're
That'd be really
they're a
weird.
pun-based species.
yeah.
But it is like the best branding I've ever seen. It's really, really good. You should check it out.
Palicos are so good.
Also, that game is just great if you haven't played Monster Hunter World or haven't played a Monster Hunter at all, like me. This is my first one.
Yeah, me
I have
too.
170 hours in it, and
Yeah, clearly not
Wish-
your last Monster Hunter.
wish I hadn't admitted that just now.
Yeah,
but
I mean, they have so many events going on too, and like constant updates and free monsters to kind of go and tackle. So
Yeah.
definitely a thing that will be living for a while.
Spring Festival, yo.
Yeah.
so
Has that
cute.
started already?
It's almost over.
Oh
Yeah.
no. Well, I need to
unfortunately.
play again then.
Yeah, play. They have like
if you
great
want to dress
armor.
up your little
Festival.
piglet like a bumblebee,
Also,
now's the time.
there's fireworks, and it's really pretty.
Yeah, you
It's
can
a
get
really pretty
fireworks.
game.
And you get like really cute dress armor.
You can.
It's kind of like buggish, so there are like bug armor, like kind of a butterfly.
Yeah, it's
one.
got like
But this is
butterfly
different.
wings and weird little antenna
Yeah.
eyes.
Cool.
But
cute.
they just added a raid boss, like the first raid. You are just lost right now.
It's fine.
He was allowed to talk about baseball.
Yeah, it's baseball time. It's Monster
It's
Hunter
fine.
time.
It's not my
Monster
turn.
Hunter World,
had
America's
my
pastime.
Yeah, and there's also a special new food you can eat, which is nice. As part of the festival,
Oh, the meals?
they have a different meal.
Oh, I must have missed it. I haven't seen it.
With
Oh
the
no,
grapes.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Spring Blossom Fest. Anyway,
What do they bring up? Anyway,
welcome to Monster Hunter World Podcast,
All
episode
right.
343.
a while.
Next up, so there's just so much to get to this week. I don't want to dwell on this for too long, but my goodness, a weekend bombshell.
Yeah,
and I'm not even exaggerating. Goldfarb tweeted, texted this to me over the weekend. He's like, "Sorry to bug you on the weekend, but did you see this?" And Firewatch developer Campo Santo has been acquired by Valve.
By whom?
By Valve.
Hey, did you guys know that they make games?
Yeah, Valve make games.
Well, they
this
buy
blows
games.
my mind. I
They also
don't.
make them.
I don't get it. I don't. I think that they're an amazing studio, and I like a lot of people who work there. And Valve is incredible,
So-
and they want to make video games. And I'm just like, why? Explain it.
So
So
I understand
why-
because what Valve likes to do is acquire talent that is incredibly good at what they do.
Yep.
And Firewatch is an incredible game, a very incredible story-driven game, and I think maybe they just want to work with more talent that's, I guess, better at that and maybe coming up with innovative ideas for that kind of
My
game.
question is though, from a business standpoint, is them doing that going to be profitable?
I don't know if they care.
Does it?
Right.
I don't think they
know if
care,
it
That's my
matters.
thing. Is
Just
for
knowing
a
how-
business, you need to describe
So
this to me.
knowing about how Gabe has talked about their budgets, which they says is non-existent, they probably don't care.
Yeah.
They're probably like, hey, we like what these people are doing, so we're going to bring them under our wing.
So
I'm excited about that.
I didn't understand this at first either until I saw a mention of what you said. And did you write it down here? Yeah, you did at the bottom here. I think your note, which I'm not gonna take from you. You can go and speak to it. But
Fine. Go ahead.
um,
I share.
aw. He's such a
There's
good
show
guy.
notes. They're
Oh,
not
you guys
Ryan
are like
notes.
relationships all over the place today.
I know
So
it's
mean
been a
and
rocky
nice.
week. We've both been very busy. If you look at Firewatch, narratively speaking, and sort of the structure of that game, it is almost exactly like Portal 2 minus the puzzles, right?
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah.
You've lost me.
You are walking, you have awesome, amazing narrative that comes in from different areas. Like You know, you're talking on your walkie-talkie, you're talking to other characters, but you're also like you're moving through this sort of level and taking in the narrative from outside sources, very similar to Portal, where you are walking around, you are learning narrative by things, and then you know, interspersed between that are these different puzzles.
Couldn't you say that about any kind of walking simulator-y game?
Yeah.
Though?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Like
Portal
So-
2 is a walking simulator with puzzles,
It's a puzzle
checkpoints
game.
thrown in, which 100% seems like they could have purchased Campo Santo for their narrative
So I
Yeah,
don't
definitely get it right.
craftsmanship, and then they
Yes.
already have the talent on staff
So I
to
don't-
make the puzzles.
necessarily think that they would make another Portal. I actually hope they don't, because I think
Really?
Portal 2 is like an incredible game to end that
I
on.
think Portal 2 is the best game.
Or-
It's just
Portal
like you
2
just
is
need to leave it. Like it is
a drop the
perfect.
mic kind of
Yeah,
game.
like-
we're done.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Yeah, like spoilers, you shoot the moon and have like one of the most incredible scenes, and then you have all
It's
this
literally my Twitter bio.
yeah, beautiful singing turrets and like this incredible send off, and it's like I don't
Eric
really
and Chet are
want to
gone
have
too.
more on that too. Yeah, and so it's kind of like a playing with fire thing, right? Like
That's
you
why
could,
Half-Life 3 doesn't exist, right? It's
well,
Playing
so
Firewatch.
we can't always get back into this thing.
Valve
So
cost.
I
Half-Life
like it.
3, I always liken it to like The Incredibles. They said that team, Pixar said that they did not want to make The Incredibles 2 until they had the right story, until they had the right thing.
Yeah.
And Valve is very big on saying we don't want to do something until it's innovative, until it progresses on the genre in some sort of impactful way, which is like why they did Artifact the way they did, working with the creator of Magic the Gathering, because they kind of felt like there wasn't a digital TCG out there that really
Yeah.
nailed what it meant to be digital and like kind of like capture, I guess, a more longer life. Because like with Hearthstone, like it obviously has a very big audience, but I think the problem is too, like a lot of people feel like if you don't have like the latest and greatest newest card packs, then you fall behind.
You got to
really
keep
fast.
buying boosters.
Yeah, and so like if you're not up with that booster game, then it's hard. And I think what they want to do with Artifact is make sure that your deck, no matter how you craft it, no matter how much you're buying, will be viable for years. And just kind of implementing deeper tactics, kind of like how they did with Dota 2 in the MOBA space. Of course, they acquired talent there with Ice Frog. So
I wonder if we've ever
Anyway.
done an episode without you bringing up Dota 2.
I don't know. I'm sorry, but we're talking about Valve.
Fine. Yeah.
So with that being said, I think them acquiring Campo Santo doesn't necessarily mean that they want them to make the next thing for like Portal, but maybe they could be on to help figure out Half-Life. Like you never know what they're
That'd
there
be
for.
amazing.
Yeah.
So I think
Theoretically.
that's the thing. It's like these guys are obviously incredibly great at nailing a narrative and an experience.
And like a minimalist narrative, too,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
is why I likened it to Portal.
I do want to just give a quick self plug here for, I don't know what episode number what it was, but if you just Google Podcast Unlocked, Campo Santo, maybe throw
Oh, yeah, we
Sean
had
Van.
Vanneman on it.
They were in
Yeah.
here back before we were in the studio, when we were in the old
Yeah.
tiny little corner room over there.
Oh my God.
They
when it was
sat
on
in,
podcast.
Sean and Jake sat in for the whole hour, and it was to me a fascinating conversation that served as kind of like a postmortem of Firewatch.
Yeah.
And if you never heard that, I would highly encourage you to go back and find that and check it out. But they will be moving because their studio's right up the street from us. They're moving to Valve in Bellevue, so they will be
Be
relocating.
very good off of that, and you're right. They have like unlimited money, and I think the biggest thing is it feels like it came out of nowhere. But our PC editor Tom Marks made a really good point yesterday. It's just because they've been working on hardware instead of software.
So,
they've
yes.
been making games for Vive, and we were just like, oh, they haven't been making games, but they have.
Well, so Tom and I went to the same trip. We went to go see Artifact together and gave this big presentation on like why Valve hasn't really been making games, and it's because they were focused on developing hardware.
Yeah.
Gabe said specifically that he was kind of jealous of how Nintendo has
Nintendo
things
quote, right?
yeah, set up, because Nintendo has like a team of engineers that can make the hardware that Miyamoto wants to implement whatever sort of thing for his next Zelda, next Mario, whatever it is. And Valve was like, we want that too. And so they spent all this time building up that infrastructure so that way whenever their creative team says, hey, we want to have this as a mechanic, they have a team that can stand by that and make sure that can happen in the next game.
Can you even imagine the freedom that you're afforded as a game designer with that mentality?
Ugh.
It's like, I'm going to use
No.
1-2 Switch. It's not the best game on the Switch at all, but saying,
You can still
I
try
I
that.
want to be able to shake the controller and simulate how many ice cubes are in the glass. And like, they're like, okay, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so incredible.
Yeah, and so Gabe did say that they have several games in development, so it's not like they're just been sitting around not developing anything and like writing on Steam money.
And now they have another in the Valley of the Gods, which will
I think
continue.
it's just in the Valley of Gods.
I think it's Into the Valley of the Gods.
Maybe.
I always get it wrong.
Yeah, I really need to lock that name down.
Anyway, it's not
Well, that's the unlocked trivia of the week. Which one is it?
canceled. It's still being in development. Also, if you're curious, Firewatch for Switch still happening. Their output is unaffected. They will just now be owned by and working at Valve in the Pacific Northwest.
Very
rather
excited
than
for
here
that
in
very
San
talented
Francisco.
team.
They have a really nice office.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it's In the Valley of the Gods.
In the Valley of the Gods.
Is that what I said?
No, In the Valley of Gods.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
This is the word. In the Valley of Gods.
Yes, in the Valley of Gods.
One.
Just
one.
Just
one.
did. You know what? We'll,
Just one.
we'll live in
All right.
confusion.
They know
for
what
the
we
rest of the
mean.
Because we're so
This is what happens when
Yeah,
we have a
Dan,
long
are you telling us to get out?
there's just colors flashing.
Has he been
at us.
doing that?
I don't
It's
know
usually
what's going
black and
on.
red, and then it goes.
Okay, we got to
Oh,
power
that's
through
how
this.
Let's see. So I'm gonna have to cut some stuff. You know what? Maybe
Let's just cut all that.
we can do all this next week because it's not really like
Time sensitive?
super time sensitive.
Yeah.
I just want to end this segment by
Yeah.
wishing a very sincere congratulations and hopefully we see you again to Albert Pinello, who he was in here. He's a friend of the show, a long time marketing guy, executive at Microsoft. He told the story when he came in here of how he sort of helped conceive the Scorpio and the Xbox One X, and then kind of was on to other things, and then came back to market the darn thing and bring it into the world. He has departed Microsoft totally on his own terms, and there's nothing bad afoot at all. He says on Twitter, "Today is a crazy day. I've made the decision after 18 years to leave Microsoft. To say it's been a once-in-a-lifetime experience is an understatement. The team at Xbox has meant so much to me, and I'll be cheering them on. There is so much great stuff still to come." So we wish you the best, Albert. You're welcome here anytime. Always love having him on. He's a very warm, positive human being who just always just loves his work, and we've gone to lunch and just talked games that have nothing, just not even Xbox stuff, just talk games, and he's a great guy, and I wish him the best. So that's 18 years. That is a long time.
Yeah.
He said he'd been involved in every single Xbox hardware project.
He's had his hand on every piece of hardware.
Including both Kinects and so from original Xbox all the way through to the X now. So best wishes to Albert. That is fantastic for him to start a new journey. All right, Alana, Games with Gold.
Oh, it's a good one.
Announced for May over the weekend. What have we got?
The Witness, April 1 to 30 on Xbox One. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, April 16 to May 15 on Xbox One. Disney Pixar's Cars 2, April 1 to 15 on Xbox One and Xbox 360. And Dead Space 2 on April 16 to 30, Xbox One and Xbox 360. All very good video games.
So those were our Aprils. They're mostly coming to an end.
Yes.
You mean Cars?
Haven't played it. All of the others are good video games.
Benefit of the doubt.
May, we have Super Mega Baseball 2, May 1 to 31 on Xbox One, which
That's
I haven't
not-
played.
America's
Not a
pastime.
Major League Sim baseball game, but we'll take it nevertheless.
Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain,
So
May
I'm-
16 to June 15 on Xbox One.
Metal Gear Solid 5. Can't wait. I haven't played it. Finally going to.
Oh, no way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you play Ground Zeroes?
Yes, I did, because that was the half-hour demo, right? 10-minute demo? 15-minute demo? A 13-minute
It'd
demo.
take you an hour to finish.
pre-release
It's a
thing.
game.
Okay.
Hard to explain.
Yeah.
Well, I played
Sega Vintage Collection Streets of Rage, May 1 to 15 on Xbox One and Xbox 360. Also haven't played it. The fourth game on this list is one of my favorite games ever, Vanquish, May 16 to 31, Xbox One, Xbox 360.
good stuff.
It is such a good game.
Good month.
And it's play it on a hard difficulty because playing that game when it's challenging is both infuriating and incredibly
It's
satisfying.
challenging on normal difficulty.
Yeah, I played it on the hardest difficulty because you've got those rockets on all your limbs and you're just sliding around the floor around these giant robots and trying not to die, and it's chaotic and it's beautiful.
All right,
Great
let's do a trivia question here real quick in the spirit of
Sorry,
episode
Dan.
343. Mike from Dallas, Texas. His gamer tag is
Texas.
Malvinity, if you'd like to friend him there. He says, in honor of episode 343, I have a Halo-themed question for you guys. With the release of Halo 2, we transitioned from Blood Gulch to Coagulation, which we went over in great detail
Yep.
Blood Gulch
earlier in the show. With this transition came many changes to the map, notably a larger play area, upper and lower decks to the bases, and tweaks to the teleporters. On top of gameplay changes, things were done to update the aesthetic. Different types of trees, rock outcroppings, and colored flags hanging from each base. And here is the question, which I have to admit, hundreds of hours on that map, I couldn't even pick this one out.
Remember?
I don't know
What
either.
animals were
Don't
on
remember.
the red and blue base flags, respectively? Was it a raptor and a lion, red, blue, cobra and a hawk, a tiger and an elephant, or a shark and a stingray? He got me on this. I just admit defeat.
I hate that I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But I'm gonna.
I just thought
my
this was
answer.
too good of a question.
This is
I'm
really
just gonna
good.
go with B.
I'm also going with B.
Ren?
I'm gonna go D.
Okay. We have Alana at 6 points. Brandon right behind at 5. Miranda,
I've
we
been
missed
gone
you.
for 3 weeks.
You're at 3.
Oh no.
So BB and what?
D.
D. Okay. Well, you inch a little closer, Miranda.
God.
Both of you are correct. It was the cobra and the
Cobra makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Cobra and hawk just feel right in Halo. Elephant didn't make sense. Raptor didn't make sense. Shark and Stingray seem kind of.
So I was thinking Cobra and Hawk, but then I remember, and I think it might have been from Halo 3, the emblems you can put on it. I remember there was a stingray, and I remember there was a shark, and I think I misattributed them to the flags on Coagulation.
All right. Well, it's been a fun.
That was a tough one. I like
Yeah,
that
that's
question.
a
tough
good
one.
question.
Great job, Mike.
Yeah, good stuff. It's been a fun episode 343. We made our own fun.
We did.
Yeah.
That was good. Sorry, Dan, that we took so long.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Let's-
Sorry.
Oh, the Lord.
You can find
Sorry, Game Scoop.
you can find me on Twitter at DMC_Ryan. Alana.
I am at Charizard. It's my name in the middle of Charizard. I'm going to a preview event on Thursday that I don't think I can say what it is, but there will be breaking news about or impressions of a video game that doesn't have any news out yet on Friday morning at 6 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah, and by the time between now and our next episode, we'll have State of Decay 2 coverage. Some more of that hitting IG.
Oh, we will, yeah.
May 1st.
May 1st. I wasn't sure if we could say the embargo or not.
And you know what? If they wanna complain to me about hyping up their thing by telling people there's more coverage coming, that's fine.
I saw social media impressions from the event anyway, so yeah, May 1st. You can expect some new State of Decay footage.
On Xbox One X.
We finally played it
on
on a console, and it looks.
You'll
good.
find out.
Looks
Cool.
good.
Yeah, Miranda.
Cool. You can find me at Havoc Grows, and it's Havoc with a K, pretty much everywhere. I guess my big thing is last week I was out for a new IGN project called Fast Travel, which is a video series where we travel to different cities and do cool things there. For kind of like gamey things. We went to an arcade bar, of course. Went to like a really incredible pizza shop. We went
Portland.
Yes, we went to Portland. We went to a lot of other cool places, so be on the lookout for that.
The pizza looked good. I saw that picture on
It looked
Twitter.
good.
I
Very
actually
large
almost
pizza.
cried.
Did you guys finish it? It was huge.
Oh yeah. We had like 2 pizzas.
Oh yeah, we
Solid.
finished it.
Strong call.
We had a good.
All right.
A good
Happy episode 343, everybody. Go play some Halo this week to celebrate, and we will.
Me too.
Yeah, me too.
Witcher 3 though. Playing it.
You gonna start playing it?
Playing it.
You gonna play it this
I
week?
already started.
We'll see everybody next week. Take it easy.
Bye.